Bitcoin, Bitcoin pulling back, but it's getting a little bit of a rise, bouncing right here where the bulls are in here just eating this up. Are they going to be able to sustain? Are we going to see higher prices, or is this going to come down and test that $61,000 level? We also see Ethereum already tapped this $3,100, actually below it. And we can see that this also had a bit of a sell-off here, scaring people out of the market. The question right now is, are you getting chopped out? There's a lot of things we're going to be looking at today, including Solana, the levels that we're looking at on this, as well as Cardano, and some really key indicators that we have to pay attention to so that we can stay ahead of the trend. We're about to get it. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We're going to be getting going here in just a moment.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoin, pumping.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't
flight
nobody tell me nothing.
All right. Are you guys ready to look at these charts? Look at these levels, look at these signals, throw a one in chat if you're ready. Are you bullish with this pullback, or are you scared? Let me know. If you're bullish, say bullish. If you're scared, if you're a little worried, say worried. It's okay. We're about to break it down. We're about to dive into it. Everybody, let's get involved. Let's close out this week of streams. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy stream. We're going to dive right into it today because we are seeing some things on these charts that it's doing that whipsaw back and forth, up and down and all around. And the question is, are you holding on? And the only way you can hold on in this market is if you have a strategy, right? And that's what we're talking about here on a daily basis. We're breaking down levels. We're breaking down the signals. We're breaking down what we're looking for to identify how not to get caught in these traps. Because look at this right here. Let's just zoom in really quick. Massive sort of wick to the downside from this top right here when we were at about $69,000. And then the sell-off there, 13% sell-off that very quickly got eaten right back up. Some people got scared here and sold out, only to buy back higher, only to have the price reverse back down again. And then it's just whipsawing up and down and up and down, now getting a larger impulse up, making it look like initially like we're about to form an inverted head and shoulders. But you cannot trade a pattern before the pattern is confirmed. You have to be patient. The number one thing you can do in this market to make money is be patient. And so what we're seeing right now is it's shaking the core of everybody that is trading on a very small time frame that does not understand what the bigger picture is. And that's what we're about to talk about today, because we got some really bullish stuff. If you guys want to see some bullish charts, you guys want to see some opportunity, throw a one in the chat. I hope everybody in here is having a good day. And if you would, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. My name's Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the BitLab Academy stream, and welcome to the community. If you're new here, let us know you're new. Big love to each and every one of you. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about it. Zachary says 11111. Let's get it, baby. And also, I saw Alexander G earlier said that weekly VWAP is, I'm telling you, if you guys are not using the BitLab trading stack with this yellow line right here, it's almost like a magic line. The weekly VWAP, when we're above it, positive, not only sentiment, but positive spread on price action. When we're below it, bearish trend is established, reestablished, and confirmed. I mean, it's confirmed here, but it's reestablished at, negative spread. Now look at this, chopping above it, now flushing out the liquidity below it. are they coming up on the end of this whipsaw? Are they coming up on the end of trying to shake people out? Well, we got to go through some data, and we're going to get back over here and look at the TA here in just a moment, but we got to go through some of this data. Guys, this chart is so bullish. This is so bullish. If you do not understand what this chart is, I'm about to break it down for you. This chart is showing us Bitcoin over time, looking at the RSI here. This is the RSI, and this is important because this RSI essentially is really just letting you know that as high as we are here, look at relatively to previous bull market tops. Look at how low the RSI is here. It does look like it's kind of rolling over a little bit. Maybe we get a bit of a dip. We never got a large dip coming into the halving. So that's one consideration here. But that does not mean that it's over for Bitcoin. Look at these large sell-offs in the past. Was it ever over for Bitcoin when we've had these 85% corrections in the past? And some people over here are like, oh my God, we just had a 12% down. It's opportunity, man. This is providing us what we want. If you got in this market at any price point right now and you see where this is going, you should see that any dip that we have, especially the one that we've basically been in the middle of, is providing opportunity for those that are prepared. So seeing this and realize that, you know, when we're looking at these ETFs and we're getting this large outflow all the way here into the red outflow of the ETFs, meaning they're not only at a net negative, they also, there's a reduction in obviously the amount of people buying the ETFs, but they also have to sell some of those Bitcoin in kind, which does create some pressure in the market. And I think more than anything, this pressure is represented in the sentiment and people trying to gauge what they should do. They see outflows in ETFs and it shakes, you know, some of the confidence in the bulls in the traditional market, in the Bitcoin exchanges, not trading OTC, you and I, retail, even big money players that are trading Bitcoin on exchange. When they see this, you know, this shifting back and forth of the ETF, in this case, this negative shift, it does, you know, brew a little bit of doubt in the market. But we come back to this chart and we see this is actually the most bullish case that I've seen so far. Even though we've had a little bit of outflows here, now we've had it a couple times. The outflows on the ETFs, when we're looking at where we're at representatively in relationship to the Bitcoin halving, we know that we've had major uptrends following the halving on all cycles. The halving was roughly right here, uptrend. Halving was roughly right here, uptrend. Halving back here was somewhere back in this zone, but uptrend followed. But look at where we're at, in terms of breaking previous all-time high before the halving, which we've never done before. But the RSI does not represent this huge amount of strength that we would consider or would think would need to get us all the way up to these levels. This means that there's other buying pressures and there's other things in the market that are driving this bullishness. And that's good, because at this point, if we do get a pullback, even if we get a significant pullback beyond that $55,000 mark that we've talked about, that we've outlined, the short-term holder cost basis, we would hope it would hold, right? But even if we dip below that, this is showing us that we're getting a lot of pressures in the market driving this market up before the true buying pressure really drives this bullish price action. So this means on any bottoming of any dip that we have, in this case right now, we've had a dip of roughly, was it about, is it 17%? Have we moved down 17? No way. Have we moved down 17%? Yeah, I guess we have. I've been looking at so many charts lately, but we've had a dip from that top to this low, roughly about 17%, which is in line with all those previous dips we've seen before on this cycle. These, come on, double click. There we go. These dips from the top here to the bottom there, 20%, from the top here to the bottom there, about 20%. And we're doing this yet again, 17% so far. The question is going to be, is this enough? Now we're seeing the price action at levels that we've never seen relative to when the Bitcoin halving is. And so things do get a little bit uncertain. And in fact, there's so many things that change in every cycle that every time is different. Is this time different? Yes. Just like last time was different than the time before that. Remember last bull cycle, there was little considerations that is the market going to perform the same way now that we have tens of thousands of other crypto in the total crypto market, right? Is that going to detract from some of the capital flowing into Bitcoin? And we see that, yeah, okay, we had a slight reduction in the X factor instead of, you know, what was it, 90X and then 30X and then 20X and then 7X or whatever it is. Everybody's wondering, are we only going to get 3.5X this time? Well, let's take it one step at a time, because as it stands right now, we're looking here at the 4-hour time frame. We do see that the money flow is flipped and it's chopping back and forth between being negative money flow, money coming out of the ecosystem, and money coming in. This is specifically in terms of Bitcoin on exchanges. This is not accounting for ETFs. So what we're following here is the fact that this has dipped down, and we see in the past, this has dipped down here at a very small little dip and continuation up. So let's go right here, option V. We got a line there. We can see what's going on. Oh, so look at that. Money flow flipped negative, and we had consolidation, really just sideways. The narrative on this bullish trend is bullish. So we want to look for buying opportunities, and smart trend followers in this space, and people that make the most money, are people that are following the trend, not the fear, not the hope, not the greed, not any narrative out there. So let's just be aware of that as we're looking at this dip and we're going, oh my God, it's falling again. But then let's get down to this 1 hour. We see that there is a little bit of work being done to come back up into the zone. Just point this out, just a little pat on my back for sharing you all this data on a daily basis. Yesterday, price action was somewhere up over in, up over in here, starting to move down. And we targeted this level right here. Why did we target this level? And look where the price came to, right? I'm talking inside what's in the box? The price, because we set out a strategy. We outlined what the data was on the chart. We see these previous lows over here. We can see if we drag this across, that's where those previous lows are. But is that the only thing? No, we also have the weekly VWAP right here, giving dual support between previous lows back here in this range and this moving average, this weekly VWAP. And then in addition to all this, we can see, I believe, no, it wasn't there. It was right here. Oops, right in here. Boom. We can see that look at this dip, not only down here, we had a wick come down right into this golden pocket before we ultimately bounced up, lower high yet again. So we have a lower low, lower high, and now we're getting that lower low again. But look at this, high volume, selling volume, which is why these candles are purple. This is on our BitLab trading stack, which you get access to through bitlabacademy.com, or through that promo link if you sign up for the Discord and then take the upgrade. That's at lab.bitlabacademy.com/Josh. But we can see this is stopping volume, yellow candle. And so it's just really trying to determine, the bulls and the bears are in a battle right now between this low and this low. Are we going to maintain, as we currently have, a higher low? If this is the case, this would be very bullish in the short term. This would be very bullish as a potential reversal zone on this move to the downside. We have a low, higher low. If we start working our way up, then maybe we even chop in this zone right here and create a ascending triangle, rising level of support, flat level of resistance. Yet to be seen yet. We have a tap up here. We have a tap down here, tap here. We're currently bouncing at this level. If we do push up, even if we chop around, we find a resistance, this ultimately would be very bullish for this to happen. We can't necessarily really call this an inverted head and shoulders anymore, because this shoulder is much too large. It's way, way larger than the previous left shoulder here. But we have to stay vigilant right here, because as much as we're getting a bounce, there's two options here. The bounce could either be a bull trap rising back up to send prices lower to get people committed long, or this is the true low, and this is going to push up, have a little bit of rejection, find support, and work its way up, and ultimately, be doing that bullish reversal work that we want to see. But we cannot be tied to what the direction is going to be right now, because it literally, unfortunately, could go either way. But let's celebrate if it can go either way. It can go up, it can go down. Let's not be frustrated that right now we want it to go up. It could go down. It going down, although not as exciting for your portfolio profits going up in the immediate right nowness, it means that you have an opportunity to stack into your positions more, so you have more weight in those assets as the profits really start to exponentially increase, because you've been stacking on dips. So the question is, are you stacking on dips? We're in a bull trend. The data shows we got some absolute fireworks coming. And if you're not prepared, if you're just upset, you feel victimized that the price isn't going up, somebody told you a coin, well, then you don't deserve profits in this market. Let's make some money in this market. In order to make money in this market, you have to buy in the red and you have to be patient. Then the last step is you have to know when to take profits. If you're not taking profits in the market at some point, whether it's in 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years, if that's not part of your strategy already, then you're also setting yourself up for failure. So let's look at these opportunities. Let's see what coins, let's see what's going on in this market so that we can take advantage of this. If you like that, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us for more so we can keep you on the right side of the trend. Now, let's dive into it. We got some other things we got to look at, and that is this chart right here. Very important chart. This chart shows network flows, and this is from Willy Woo. He says, ETF investors showing that they're noobs, meaning trading like idiots. On the first dip, ETFs, this is a dip, the first ETF dip, since the ETF's been out, other than the sell the news event right when it launched. There's been $1.6 billion in outflows. Now, you have to also realize a big portion of this also is going to be the GBTC rotation. A lot of people selling, closing out their positions in grayscale. In the same time frame, we can see the Bitcoin network, people buying on exchange, self-custody people like you and I that are buying, putting in our wallets, putting in our ledgers, putting in our Arculus, putting in, holding even some of it on exchange, but you're not buying it through an ETF. This means that those people, these self-custody people, have been buying the dip, because we could see it right here. The dark area, ETF flow. A lighter color is basically the total flow, which is accounting for people buying on exchange. Positive here, negative here. All of us that have been in this market for some time, and even if you just got here and you've been following along and being a community member here at BitLab Academy on the YouTube or in our Discord and in our courses and such, we're buying dips. I'm emulating Warren Buffett. Even though he doesn't like Bitcoin, he's got great market strategies. He says you buy when there's blood in the streets. So I'm proud of you guys for buying if you are. Now let's go ahead and refresh this liquidation heat map. Let's see if there's any new levels. What's going on here? Let me sign in. I don't know why I got signed out. Let me sign in there. Boom, boom. I think that's the password. Yes, it is. Okay. Couldn't remember what my password was there for a moment. Liquidation levels. Here we go. Let's see what the data has updated to. So we have a huge amount of color right below us. Excuse-moi. Huge amount of color right below us. This is what I'm talking about right here where my mouse is. See how there's not much color here? But then we get some stragglers here. We get a little group here. We get some here, and we get a lot up here. So we can see the price action on the left. We can see on the right, just look for where there's the most color. That's where there's the most likely the most liquidation levels set up in the charts. So this means we could effectively still move down in price from here, even if we get rejected and move down into the zone, which would make sense because this is where the brightest color is closest to us. That means it's free liquidity in the chart. Who cares what you want the price to do? The market doesn't. The market is, everybody in the market is a wolf. You're either a wolf or a sheep in this market. You're either going to be donating your money to somebody that understands how these things work, or you're going to be taking money from somebody who doesn't understand how things work. That's how these markets work. Shout out to Lock Sky, gifting 5 memberships. Big love to you. I appreciate you. Shout out to all the BitLab members in the house of the YouTube. All of you that have that beaker next to your name. I see you. All your beakers are filling up as you the longer you're a member here. So shout out to all you, and shout out to all the BitLab members, BitLab Academy members that are in the courses and in the premium Discord. Shout out to everybody there. Throw in some emojis there if you're a BitLab member. But what we're looking at here, simplified, most easy method. This is a Joshua Jake method, which I really like. He put it on my radar. Using this like a windshield wiper. This tends to move down and then move all the way back up and then move all the way back down. And where we're at right now, we can see that this did work its way down. It was earlier when this was over here, this was all the way to the upside. Now, this has come down, but we're getting a little bit of a bounce here, but we still see the hottest colors right below us, meaning there's free liquidity in the chart if the market makers can do whatever they're going to do, whether it's FUD campaigns, whether it's actual big money movements, putting orders in the order books to make sell walls and buy walls. There's so many different mechanisms big money players can use in this market to move it to their desire. And in this case, there's a pool of liquidity that will be down here if the price action, if they can get people committing to go down in this area. And then what happens is once they commit going short, this is where the magic happens. When they get people to come down here and this goes down and these people have gone long, which is why we have all this liquidity right below us. Liquidations. This is why there's a difference between spot trading, which is where you're buying, let's say you have $10, you're buying $10 worth of Bitcoin. That's a spot trade. Liquidations are people that are taking leverage. Say they have $10, they want to trade with 100. Well, technically they're borrowing $90 from the exchange. They have to pay a funding fee, all this other stuff. But what happens is when you take a leverage trade, depending on how high the leverage is, 3x, 5x, 10x, 100x, the higher the leverage, the tighter the gap is, the tighter the spread is in terms of where price can go before that position has to close. And if you have a long, in order to close a long, you have to have a short. If you have shorts, in order to close a short, then you have to have the same amount of long incline. So AKA, if the price action is pushed down here and you have people committed going long here, if the price action pushes down back into this, there's forced selling, which means there's forced opportunity for buyers down here if the liquidity comes down into the zone, because they know that there's going to be liquidity at that level and they can satisfy those orders being done. That's why these liquidation levels matter so much. So as it stands, when we're looking at the price right now, this feels good. We're getting a bounce, but sometimes we look at this on, let's say, a 7-minute chart. 7-minute chart, we're like, you know, God damn it. We look at this and we're like, oh yeah, we're fully bullish now, but we're not. I mean, what we are right now is we're in the middle of a consolidation on a breakdown. See this breakdown? It is widening. I have another chart on it here too, this broadening wedge, but we haven't done anything that satisfies a reversal yet. Now, as it stands, we do have this shoulder, head, and this is, I don't want to call this an inverted head and shoulders, but there's still very similar aspects to it. Whether you're looking at the inverted head and shoulders or this broadening wedge, both of these patterns tend to break bullish. But as it stands right now, we need to maintain the support that we've had, which has come down here to roughly 62.6 sort of level. We have 2 order blocks. These green blocks, I didn't put them on my chart. Our BitLab trading stack automatically propagates. Let's delete that. We need some clarity on this chart. See this shows you liquidity interest zones on the chart where price action will likely come and use as support or resistance, like magnets. See, this came down into this, now pushed back up, came back down. On this move up, we formed a new order block right here. So we have a double order block right in this region, and the price action did push up, came into resistance. This was a fake out. I talked about this yesterday in the BitLab Discord, talking about we want to see when price action moves above this weekly VWAP, comes back and finds support, which it did, but then we couldn't even clear the lows of this range. So this would not have been a trade. This gets rejected. Now we're back below the weekly VWAP. We are oscillating both directions on this. There's not clarity of who's in charge at this moment. And this is evident on multiple things. We're oscillating right around back and forth on this weekly VWAP. We found resistance here and support here. The money flow was very positive. It came down, went negative, went positive, went negative, and now see how it's going back and forth between gray and purple. It just means it has gone negative, but there's not been really any movement. So there's uncertainty going on in the charts. Now we are seeing bearishness on the BitLab dashboard right here. Bearish, bearish, neutral, neutral, bearish, bearish. This is the various signals that are here in the oscillator. Ultimately, what we want to see is this level held on this as a bull. Come up in here, do some work, come up here, reject, find support, break out, get rejected, find support, probably chop a little sideways, move up very quickly, shock people, come down, scare people, move up. The necessary movements of what happens in these markets. Yes, this felt good right here, but had you had this trend line outlined, you'd say, okay, this feels good. Let's see what happens at this juncture, because not only do we have this descending trend line here, we also have an intersection. These are so important in trading and technical analysis. an intersection, AKA a confluence of this diagonal trend line with this horizontal, let me put it right here, this horizontal level right here. Why is this level important? Previous range top. Okay, great. Previous range top. What else do we have? We have this previous range low, previous range low, previous range low. This bounce right in here. Previous range top, previous range top. And so you can see as the price action was coming up into the zone, we know we have two different levels, almost like crosshairs, like XY axis saying, this is a target you need to pay attention to. It doesn't mean rejection. It doesn't mean breakthrough. It just means this is an area of interest. The data is saying other people in the charts are looking at this area also. So you do. You set your path accordingly. And this is exactly what happened. Price action came right into that level, got rejected, came back down. Look at this. Found support on the weekly VWAP, came up. This high is basically finding resistance on this range low right here, confirming the bears are still in control here. But the bulls are trying. They're trying so hard. They're trying so hard. How do we know that? Because the bears are bringing this down, but the bulls ate this right back up. This is sort of really on this candle, on this 4-hour candle, we're at a juncture that if we can maintain this roundingness, then the bulls have a shot in the near future. Overall, over this next month, over this next 3 months, everything's as bullish as it can be. But when you're trading and scalping on smaller time periods, smaller time frame, then we have to acknowledge that there still could be work to the downside. And ultimately, I've talked about this before a lot. By the way, we got a lot of new people in the room. So welcome to the family. Welcome to our community. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join us here. We are a positive, warm space, tools, resources, breaking down these things with the non-biased manner of identifying how to dominate in this market. So I'd love to see you here in the community. Show some love. Let us know in the live chat if you are free. By the way, my name's Kelly Kellum. If this is your first time, welcome to the family. So looking at where we're at right now, if we lose this level, we have two things that I'm looking at right here. One is, see the bottom side of this wick right here, as well as this order block that comes across. This is kind of coming into an intersection, a zone that is intersecting with this range, this basically lower level of support on this broadening wedge. So I'd be watching somewhere in this region. Now, this is an interesting region because there's two kind of levels here that we need to pay attention to. We zoom in on this. Let's see. We zoom in on this. This is that level right here. Okay. Now we have this range, the candle body low here. This is 61,000, which is basically representative roughly about where this low is. Let me remove this Fibonacci. Now we can see coming down into this zone right here, this intersection of, let's actually make this a little bit prettier. There we go. This tells me that we have the short-term holder cost basis, which has marked a regular level on every bull trend all the way up for price to get very excited. And then everybody feels like it's over, only to have the price bounce at that short-term holder cost basis. We've seen it time and time again. Where is BitLab? There we go. This is a short-term holder cost basis. Bounce, little deviation, bounce. We're still well above it. This comes in right about 54.7, 54.8. We can see this again. I'm going to show you all. Let's go inline. You can see on this right here, once we break above it, we test this short-term holder cost basis all the way up. We have some separation there, but look at this. We break above it, bounce, bounce, and then we start getting a separation. The question is, are we at that separation stage yet, or is there a deeper pullback? This is what we're trying to figure out. If it breaks down, I'm watching for this region right here. I'm ultimately watching for a sweep down potentially to 59. It's really scare some people and come back up, or an actual breakdown into the zone. And we could be prepared for that. But I'll show you why. We talked about this. We talked about the liquidation levels. And remember, so this is a $60,000 region. This would be sweeping all of this liquidity if we did touch that, if we did go down to that $59,000 level. There's something else I want to show you. This right here. So this TXMC also shared his sentiment. Bitcoin best case dip scenario, in my opinion, would be a quick sweep of the $59,000 wick low and a timely reclaim of the H4200 MA. Sounds like a bunch of acronyms. What that means is the 4-hour chart. Hour what? 4. See how it says 4 hour? H4200. So the 200 4-hour candles So it's averaging the last 200 candles, moving averages confluent with demand. So this is where you have the EMA and the SMA right in here. So you get this sort of cloud. They're coming into a little bit of a convergence right here. We already had this wick down here into the basically 60, mid 60s, mid low 60s. We get a sweep down into here. Remember, one of the things we see most often in this market, is setting up traps to the upside, getting that last impulse, getting people committed on that last squeeze of liquidity to the upside, and also a spring to the downside where it's like, oh, it's about to break even further, and it does. It dips, and then it just whipsaws straight back up to the upside. We've already achieved a 17% drop. Are we going to stay? Do you guys think, I'm curious right now, everybody here in the room, do you think we're going to hold? Do you think we're going to hold within that 20% drop range, 20, 21% drop range we've seen several times in this cycle? We've not had any major dip. So let's not get so worried on this price action movement to the downside when we're still so far above the short-term holder cost basis that right now people feel like it's over. We've only dipped 17%. We have not even satisfied the multiple 20% dips that we've gotten this entire bull run of all 2023. I do want to say special love, shout out to Mr. Tom Crown in the house. I see you here, my friend. Again, special shout out to you. Everybody, if you haven't followed him, make sure you go and give him a follow. I'm going to pull up his page real quick. He's just hit, after I think 5 years or something, he just hit 100,000 subscribers. So big love to my boy, Mr. Tommy Boy, Tom Crown. You can find him right here at Tom Crown. That's spelled with alphabetic letters in a consecutive order following an @ symbol. That is at Tom Crown. Go give him a follow. We're going to have to get you on here, Tom. Everybody throw a 1 in chat if you want to see a little collab with me and Tom doing some guest spots on each other's shows. Let's see if we get some people. If we get 10 on there, then I'll throw another 10 on there because I definitely want to make that happen. I love Tom. Let's get back into the charts right here. Where are we at? Boom. Let's not get so worried about a move down into this zone. Ultimately, I think if we did move into here, it'd be more of a wick basis, quick move into the zone, spring back up. I'm watching this region right here, this really, I would say, I'll call it $59,000 to $60,000 region, getting people to commit short, providing more liquidity for these big players in the space. So as it stands right now, if we don't break further down, I'm elated for that. We've come right down into this order block. If we can keep this rounding out and start moving up, ultimately, we really want to watch a break of this weekly VWAP here on the BitLab trading stack. We want to look at this. This is beautiful. There's an intersection now. That intersection, these point to areas of specific interest in the chart. When you have an intersection, in this case, with the VWAP and the trend signal line right in here, this is telling me that this is going to be a very important area. So if price action does start moving back up, let's not get excited at a movement on the upside on a 2-minute candle. Here on this 4-minute candle, 4-hour candle, if this does break through this zone, this $65,000 zone, then we can start talking about playing this upside. And ultimately, we really want to clear this $68,000 to $69,000 zone before we can confidently say that things are actually starting to move to the upside. As it stands right now, I'm looking and I'm watching and trying to make sure that I don't get caught in the chop. That's what the market's trying to do right now. So let's go ahead and look at a couple other things here in the matrix. I just want to point out here this chart from TXMC, echoed by this chart right here. Bitcoin has only broken through those EMAs and those moving averages we were just talking about. Bitcoin has only broken through the EMA trend bars once in the last 6 months. As I said last time, if it breaks through, you get one of your best buying opportunities of the last 6 months. That's essentially what he's saying. We had this deviation. This was the ETF hype sell-off launch. This is that sell-off spring I was talking about. So are we worried here, or are we jumping at the opportunity to have another incredible buying opportunity before this train runs away? That's what we got to ask ourselves. There's no crying in Bitcoin. There's no crying in crypto. You're either here to give your money to me and other professional traders in the space, or you're here to take that money for your portfolio. Now, I want to do this in the most positive and empowering way possible, which is why I do this channel, which is why Tom Crown does his channel, because we can help people make sure that you stay on the right side of the trade. You stay in the green. You know how to make money if market's moving down. You know how to make money if market's moving up. You know how to make money by allocating your portfolio to have a broad range of exposure in the market and protecting yourself from a catastrophe like we saw with Luna. Let's make money in this market so we can help people in our lives, our family, our friends, pay off our student debt, help our sister buy a house, help the homeless guy. Let's be better so we can help better. That's what this is about. So let's do it. Follow for more if you want to be on this train, because this is showing us if we get the dip, it's not the end of the world. Ultimately, that would result, in my mind, of us testing that $55,000 level. So let's look at a couple other coins here. Pay off national debt. Hey, I'm pulling myself out of that system by getting into Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Is that a bull div on the, can't see. That's a bull. There is a bull div on the like button. Let's get that. Let's get those likes up. Everybody let's set some records today, baby. Hit that like button. Sextuple, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell. Let's go ahead and look at a couple other things. Ethereum also in a precarious situation right now. I always draw on this chart. There we go. Precarious situation, but is it? It's opportunity situation. We had a high, we broke down, fall, rise, fall, rise. This suggests there could be another fall, you know, on that Elliott wave theory, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is an M formation as well, showing some bearish conviction somewhere in this chart to try and move price lower. Every bit of price action that happens on every asset ever is a never-ending battle of bulls and bears narrative. Who's defending their level the best? The bulls defend their levels to the downside. Yes. How could that be? Price moves up. That's how the hell price moves up. On any sort of price action movement to the downside, the bulls defend levels to send price higher. On the bearish case, the bearish narrative, they're defending price from going higher. They're defending highs so that price can consecutively move to the downside. Be a better you every day, says Corey Wrights. Shout out again, everybody, by the way. You know that opening track we have? That is Corey Wrights. That's his music. We got connected on the Twitterverse, and I like the song so much. I said, hey, man, can I cut it up a little bit and use it as an intro? So special shout out to you. I appreciate you. Yeah, really do appreciate you. All right, now, so we're seeing right here the battle of conviction because we have a downtrend, boom, but we have the same thing we saw in Bitcoin, a whipsaw to the downside. We broke through the weekly VWAP, came back up, basically tested this sort of range area, M formation, breaking down, and we've lost the weekly VWAP again. So this is going to be, I think this is going to kind of ride the same train as what's going on with Bitcoin. We're going to have to watch both of them if these round out and try to make a move up, or if these do test the previous lows. There's going to be a more likely rebound, follow through on the rebound if we do establish a lower high. Currently, we don't have that because this hasn't started moving back up. If we do test this and sweep to the downside, we've got some levels set for that as well, right? We have this order block range right here, this green bar automatically propagated on the chart. That's why I love our indicators. Come right in here. I would just move this down just a touch. So this was the range low right here, which is about where the previous range high was, right back in here. So if we do sweep down and lose this, I'm watching this 2,800. Can you believe that we might get a $2,800, 2,880 Ethereum? Only a couple, a week or two ago, it was up here at over $4,000. So I'm not mad at this. I'm honored to have the opportunity to buy this before the train runs away. So if we lose that, we're going to go to our next level down, which is roughly about right here. Option J, previous range top right in here. We can also see, boom, oops. We can also see this right here. See this line that comes out of this? This gives you a suggested area where there's going to be liquidity interest because there was high volume selling high volume buying and then stopping volume right in here. It gives you a suggested area. Boom, we put a line right there, come across on the chart. We see it's also where price action already had trouble with, and this came down and bounced on this. This is telling me that if price does move to the downside, then we can look at this level right here. We can look at this level right in here, 27. So we're looking, look, 31, 20, basically 29 and 27. Those are the levels I'm watching. Barring some other larger catastrophe in the market space, I don't see us, more likely than not, I don't see us breaking down from there. Now let's see if this lines up with any major fibs on this move. So let's go from this point right here, option F. If you're on PC, it's Alt F. Let me draw this up a little bit higher. And the golden pocket, you see this? 0.65, 0.618. It's right here, sitting right on top, straddling just above this $2,900 level. So this is telling me this is going to be a pretty important level if we get down there. And if not, I would be delighted as well, because I've been stacking in my altcoin portfolio. That altcoin portfolio I've been sharing with you guys. I started building this altcoin portfolio February 7th. We've just been stacking into this. And even with this dip right now, we're up $2,200 on this on a spot position hold. Because not everybody's a trader. Maybe you're just trying to figure out to find entries. This whole portfolio, this specific altcoin portfolio of mine, was built specifically using that position trade narrative, looking for trying to capture the majority of the bull run. And almost everything's up. Chain link's a little bit down. So this tells me I could stack into this because it's below the entry that I had. Now let's look at Solana and Cardano. And then, by the way, everybody, we do have a BitLab member stream this afternoon. It's going to be 4:15, 4:30. If Josh can't be there till 4:30, I'm going to start it at 4:15 either way. You can come right here if you are a BitLab member in the Discord. Come up here to where it says one event. Just click interested. Boom. We got 81 people coming to that one. But by the way, if you want access, we've been sharing incredible coin picks, trade setups, market breakdowns. We even had our last BitLab member stream. We gave away 10 pre-sale options to some coin projects that we know. You know, we're not pumping them at all, but we're giving people access to those pre-sales and stuff. We're giving a lot of stuff to our BitLab members. If you want more info on that, head over to the BitLab Academy page, the very top of the page, the pinned post. You can also retweet this tweet. You are entered to win $100 USDT. I'll be drawing on Tuesday next week, or whatever day the 26th is. I think it's Tuesday next week. Retweet this. You get entered to win $100. But if you want to join, it's 30 days free membership. And then if you want to cancel, you can cancel anytime. It's right here, lab.bitlabacademy.com/Josh. That's just a promo that we initially did when he joined on. But we're leaving it open while we have the price action still below that previous all-time high we just hit. So get involved with us. You can join for free. Join us in that member stream this afternoon. If you sign up, do me a favor and be a human that understands how to read email. Check your inbox. Check your spam folder. There's two very simple steps. Uno, dos. If you do those two steps, you will have all the premium access automatically added to your Discord. If for some reason you can't read, or somehow, even though you're on the internet, you don't know how to use email, email me at help@bitlabacademy.com and I can get you set. You can also set a customer ticket in the Discord and we'll get to you. Now let's go ahead and look at Cardano. Cardano's been providing opportunity, baby. This felt so good. This feels so bad without a plan. But we've had this outlined. We have a larger thing at play here. Let's go ahead and get on this 6 hour. We have this larger sort of rising wedge at play. You can draw it like that. And remember, every pattern is speculative. Every pattern is a piece of finger painting art that a TA analyst did. I said, I feel like this looks good. And it's the truth. No TA is right. There is no TA that's right. It's all speculation based on something you're seeing and the way you're the way you're identifying levels on a chart. The better you get at it, you can refine and redefine and adjust your TA to be more consistently effective in terms of calling certain levels. So in this zone, we have this rising level of support that we just kind of bounced on. Let's zip out of that. We just bounced on this, and now we have this other level, this rising broadening wedge that we did. Look at this, beautiful. Found support, bounced up, found rejection, came down, flipped this previous support line to now resistance, and the price action is now basically right in this region of this dynamic resistance zone right here with this weekly VWAP as well as the trend signal line rejected right in the zone. This is the same story that we're seeing on Ethereum and Bitcoin. Right now, things are trying to figure out, because we're pre-halving and we've hit levels that we haven't hit pre-halving before, as bullish as things are, there are people that want to take some profits. And you might say, how could you ever want to take profits? It's going to go so much higher. They might have bought it $3,000 Bitcoin. They might want to, change their life a little bit. Maybe now they're harvesting some profits. Everybody's strategy is going to be different. So as it stands right now with Cardano, this is ultimately still an incredible setup for the bull run. This is giving us opportunity and giving us signal that if this does lose this rising level of support right in here, basically the 58 cent mark, 58.5, I'd be watching one of two things: a quick wick down into basically double bottom right here where we have this previous range top, this line, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here. Are we going to test this zone again where we had circled from a few days ago? And if we do, we lose it, then I'm looking down here at the 52 cent mark and then ultimately likely coming down into the mid 40s, which this is less likely to me, but I still map it out so I'm prepared if it does occur. I'd rather plan for several situations and have 3 out of those 4 not make it, because sometimes you don't know which one of those 4 is going to be the one that plays out. When you have a plan, then you can act on data, you can act on strategy, and not react on emotion, which only leaves you to giving your money away to somebody else. So that being said, let's watch for an opportunity if we do get somewhere here in the mid 50s opportunity. And I would just split up, divvy up a bit of my dry powder. If I want to add to Cardano, I would add some here. And I would also add, a little bit more down here in this low 50s range. And then the final sort of bit of this allocation for dry powder for Cardano will be ultimately down here in this 47, 46 range. So you ladder those, you DCA your entries on dip buying. That way you're not like, oh, it dipped. Like right here. Oh my God, it dipped. I bought. Yes. Oh, what the hell? Oh, I don't have any more to add. No, we got to be smart. Best case scenario for MINA this run, Morgan Powell, shout out for the $1.99 super chat. And also, again, shout out to Lock Sky for those 5 gifted memberships. Let's look at MINA. We haven't looked at MINA in a minute. MINA in a minute. All right, 3 days. Let's go ahead. Double click here. We got to get, if I haven't looked at a chart in a while, then I want you all to throw a 1 in chat right now if you can promise me this. If you're looking at a coin or an asset that you haven't looked at in a while or ever, before you get excited about any price action, zoom out. At minimum on a macro, look at the 3-day. Preferably maybe the weekly. Take a look at the landscape. You want to be like Bob Ross here. If you want to put that happy bush, you want to pull that happy fib, you got to know what the hell the landscape is so you can actually cultivate what it is you're trying to do. So in this case, okay, we have a high up here. This is on Binance, so this is probably an old enough chart. Highs up here at 674. It's right now at $1.18. This is, beautiful sort of, it's not really an Adam and Eve. It's essentially just an ugly bottoming rounding pattern here. But we have this V shape here. One could argue that this is a bit of a cup and handle. It's a little sideways, but structurally it is very similar to a cup and handle. So let's go ahead, boom, put this up. So look at that. Cup and handle has a target of what the previous all-time high was. So that's good. Now, does that mean you long right now on 30x leverage? No. It doesn't, because we see this pattern has had resistance, and it's currently breaking down. This is on the weekly, below the weekly VWAP. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more. Look at this, option T, option J, So we have the previous range tops right in here. And this is right where the trend signal line is on. This is a 50 moving average, essentially with some code in it, giving you trend signal. Now we see these two things line up, intersection, and there's an order block right in this as well. So 4 hour, what do we see? 4 hour, we got a little bit of a kind of a channel. Not really. Let's see. No, it's ugly. See, sometimes you just have to mess around with the chart. Nothing is going to be perfect ever. You can only use your best approximation. It's like art, literally. You say, okay, what looks like the most things line up? So it looks like we have a bit of a option T. Option T. If you're on PC, it's Alt T. So you see how these tops, top, let's turn off all this other stuff. So we're getting a little bit of a resistant levels here. Support, support, support. If price action breaks down here, and it's looking like it tried to break out on the very small time frame. See, it look very small time frame breakout. So on the very small time frame, and this is like everything we're seeing, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, all of them. This zone right here is very similar to what we're looking at, it potentially having a higher high here. If we lose this zone and come down and lose this zone right here, then we've also essentially negated this breakout of this resistance level, because this also means then that we're also not flipping this resistance to support. We're going back into a bearish trend, at which point tends to add to a little bit of more cascading sells. And so losing this, I'd be watching for a bit of a move down like this, down to the 90-cent mark. It's about a 50%. Is that a 50% move from here, really? No, it's not $1.82, $1.18. I can do math, I promise. So that would be, yeah, about 22% move. That would be a great opportunity if we lose this level. And look, we have this diagonal resistance, which is now potentially support. We have the order block right here. It's coming across, and we have this rising level of support right in here. So this is going to be a target area right in here. We can put a box on it. What's in the box? The target, man. The target's in the box. So the target there is going to kind of determine if we're going to move into a bullish move here, bouncing out of this zone, whether we're bouncing above it or in it. Anywhere here would be bullish if we're able to bounce here and move up. If we lose this level, then we're ultimately going to take that next leg to the downside. Solana. We have these two measurements. Remember, what are these two measurements? A more realistic target, and then those moon boys that say, oh, there's a macro cup and handle. The target is $1,500. Well, great if you have the audacity and the patience to identify a macro trend, buy and hold through all of the trouble. Seeing that $1,500 target does not mean you go, leverage long because you're going to dominate and be a multimillionaire on one trade. No, that's how you donate your money to multimillionaires. So let's remove that target. This was that target that we had out of the smaller cup and handle, or inverted head and shoulders, or kind of just this reversal sort of pattern right here to the upside. We achieved that, and we're coming down. Great. So we're doing healthy bull things. Rise, retrace, continuation. Retrace. Now, is this going to hold here? Very similar that we're seeing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. This has performed a bit better as of late, but currently we're sitting right in the middle of this order block right here, which is also the middle of this this area of interest that we had outlined. Price action in here, bouncing on the bottom, rejecting on the top, bouncing on the bottom. You see, rejecting on the top, rejecting on the top, bouncing on the bottom. We're right here at this juncture. If we lose this, I do believe that I don't think it's just going to come down to this wick. If we do lose this and start coming down, I ultimately think this is actually going to move down a little bit lower than that. Come down here into this basically $150 range, which would be a great target. And I don't care if you hold Solana or not. I don't care if you like that target or not. The charts don't care if you like that target or not. And I could be completely wrong, but I'm prepared if it goes there. That's what this is about. Now, ultimately, if we hold this zone, we do have inklings, little inklings of a support level here with this bounce, If we are able to bounce off this, push back up, then ultimately we have the smaller time frame target right here that we're going to want to essentially break out of. Trend line top, the 1-2 point, right? We have multiple candles riding this. So we may squeeze in here and then pick the direction up or down. If we do pick it up, then we're going to want to clear this 194 level and then ultimately, of course, 210 level. But That's what we're seeing. Say is one of those. I don't know why. I really like Say going into this next cycle. This is where we got it back here on that February 7th mass purchase because I saw what was going on with the total altcoin market. I went and bought a bunch of stuff. This is where we bought. Felt great. Felt scary. Felt great. And realized, no, we're buying this for a great run over the next many months. I'm happy with this consolidating at these levels. If this pulls back a bit deeper into the 74-cent range or loses this and comes down even lower in the mid 60s, great. As it stands right now, things I think are waiting on the data from these ETF flows. I think people are underestimating how much impact not the ETF buying pressure is because they're buying from OTC. But the buying pressure, the data that we see of inflows and outflows on these ETFs is driving a speculative engine of bulls or lack of bulls, which ultimately could be bearish, right? I don't think there's much bearishness in this market right now. However, I do think there is some people that do want to hedge or take some profits. If it does look that like the ETFs are getting a little weak, maybe I'll just take a little off the table. I think it's more of that. That would be my idea. I'll ask, if I talk with Tom, I'll ask Tom what his thoughts are on that. But I don't think this, this idea that the ETFs are driving the value. No, the ETFs are driving the excitement and the awareness of people that are already in the space because we see where this is going. And on top of that, that it is also creating a bit of a supply shock that TXMC would actually argue doesn't really exist because there's always going to be somebody willing to sell. And especially as the prices go up, plus 120, 140, 150. So there's always going to be, this is what capitalism is. This is what capitalistic markets, capital markets do. They create an incentive for trading assets, currency, positions, value based on providing something to somebody that wants it. And if it's too expensive, then nobody will buy it. And that value of that asset has to drop to fulfill the need to actually get a buy order. Similarly, if everybody wants this and the price is $6 and everybody wants it and it sells out, this person that has this asset goes, oh, I could charge 12, still sells out. Oh, I could charge 17, still sells out. I could charge 100. Now nobody's buying. Okay, let me drop it to 80. Still nobody. Okay, 75. Okay, there's the price. That's how capital markets work. Shout out. I see everybody. Let's get 100 likes. 3 more likes. Everybody hit those like button. It is Friday. It is my first, it's the end of my first week. No, 2 weeks now. Yeah, 2 weeks as a 40-year-old. So shout out to everybody again that gave me all that birthday love back on, and when my birthday was, and that little spontaneous DJ session I did online on Twitch, jamming with everybody. And I love you guys. I appreciate you. I got to get running because I have to set up for the, I got to get some things together for the BitLab member stream. Shout out to Tommy Two Tone. Sounds like a DJ. Yo, on the ones and twos, Tommy Two Tone. I am super bullish this cycle on ABT, ARC block. Can you please check out the chart and talk to me? Talk to me out. Okay, let's look at ABT. Thank you for the super chat. I try to get anybody that super chats, I try to get their charts in. And again, thank you again to Morgan Powell for that super chat as well. All right, ARC block. I know that they're doing a lot of. They've been around for a while. They've got a pretty good ecosystem for what they're building on. And we can see right here we have a nice base forming. Come on, nice base forming here, roughly about where these previous range tops were. Bounce, bounce, bounce. A little bit of a bounce, bounce. This is also starting to round. So what we're looking at here, shout out again, Tommy Two Tone for the super chat. So we come from the top, option F, top to bottom. Okay, we can see, okay, so the golden pocket is right here where this wick already dabbled all the way up into, which is $2. It's another 37 cents, 38 cents from here. As it stands right now, things are kind of following the narrative of what the sentiment of the market is. So if this does move, I think this is going to have a solid bull market when the markets really start ripping. But sometimes this is actually bullish. The fact that, look at this is stair stepping up, giant bull flag here, push up, and a sort of consolidative drawdown. There are wicks up and down, chopping people in and out, but we are seeing this. If this does break down further, I'd be looking for it to find some support in the $1.49, $1.53 sort of level. As it stands right now, there's no telling. We saw in this previous runs in the last 3 months, when things get going, they go immediately. This is why, as excited as you can be about buying a dip and you have the perfect level outlined, you're going to get it down here because it's blah, 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 and your analysis says this and that. That may never happen. So when you see an asset that you like, or that you already have, or that you want to stack more into, identify, I like to do it minimum 2 levels, but 3 levels that you can get a very conservative entry that's more likely to hit, one that takes on a little bit more of an edge, and then one that's like, it'd be great if it hit this. So in this case, what I'd be looking at is, I mean, honestly, let's see, that's already a pretty big dip, right? Come on. That's already a 15% dip. If in my strategy, I already would be buying, because this is kind of, see this equilibrium where this is a low, this kind of finds, this bounces, this finds resistance. Then we have all this chopping right in here. We're coming right through this level. The price action came back into this median zone. So to me, I would be like, let's see, it would have been like a 1, 2, 3 sort of zone. That's where I'd be laddering in, getting some, because this may be the washout to the downside before launch. This would be a pretty decent level to look for a buy, because you'd also have a higher low here. And then this is if it's really just trying to whipsaw the life out of everybody. But everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. Like I have to sneeze. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hit that like button. Drive those likes up. Join us on the. If you're watching, I ask you, as a friend, give you all my time. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope I provide some sort of content that entertains you in some ways, but more so helps you understand what's going on in this market. And if you gain anything, even one chart, and you hated everything else, if you gain anything from watching this, I'd love it if you would look down below this video, hit the subscribe button, join us in the family. Let's build this community together so we have the best community in the space. And again, shout out to Tom Crown for his 100K. Shout out to Blockchain Basement. They've been crushing it lately too. Discover Crypto. There's a lot of people out there that have just been doing well. Frankie Candles. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the Discord. And there's going to be, remember, it's lab.bitlabacademy.com/Josh. If you want to get in, sign up for free, 30-day free trial. And I'll see you later. Adios. I didn't forget you. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for being here. Hit that subscribe button and be all the BitLab's friends. Adios, suckers. Hit that like button.